Hey, just the person who wants to see me.
I saw that.
Nobody wants to see me.
It's not nice.
This is about Norwich.
But that's all news. I don't see what they put. But Arthur was much older. So they
Duplicate it, pass it out.
I did that. No.
isn't that
What's the governor?
John Forster was it put it on his memo?
It's another, yes, it was yes, yesterday.
No, it was a couple of weeks ago. We listened to Hi, Olga.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Right here, feet are on the floor. God knows. Can't be my granddaughter is 17. We've been 17. She's on a road. How nice. I think of Arthur skulls on the
But it's fun.
Oh, yes. In fact, they're not on the water. They have sheets with it. So she's not a very athletic kid, so that's great. Oh, hello. I thought I saw you.
We were in heavy conversation. All right.
She's in Michigan. She's the president. She said they were all I told her, before you left, we can't help you. There wasn't she was had new people moving in and new applicants, and there's nobody there.
I think it's a bunch of same story. Well, there's a claim and it hasn't been worked on.
No, this wasn't insured. This
No,
wasn't.
no.
Oh,
And
this
she's
is
like,
something on.
you know, well, who's gonna look, be there? And I said, no, that's your problem, I mean, not mine.
Well, I told her to put this. I said, well, you mentioned that. You have to hear it. But the learning camp, I cannot help most people.
Well, that's because most of the people have already asked somebody.
And gotten wrong information. The majority of the people come to upstate to me, I noticed, Marcos, mainly Marcos. One woman came to here, she didn't have the model of her car, and it wasn't on the registration. Patricia? She was just very air conditioning and how we
Miles of these were looking at possible repair. But then when we found out engineering was replacing 60–70% of the system, this is no longer a repair. It's just going to re-engineering.
No, they're water damage. We'll take care of everything. Right. Well, here's the deal. You're going to be signing a assignment of benefits. And then you'll have to pick this up. I'll say about it.
Never mind.
Sounds like you're too good. Guess what?
I'm learning so much.
They usually come and sit at their fellows and then I say, could you tell me what you want?
Hi, John. I from the library, go to 5. 7. Listen, I suspend this. What happened was,
What's up, John? First hurricane this year, Hurricane John.
There you go. We're talking. Because we're talking about named storms. It just gets clouded up, they want to name it damn storm. But the insurance company's behind that. Because if you have damage, you get your regular $5,000. But if it's a named storm,
Hell of a storm.
yeah. If you have major damage to the named storm, 1%. So, they want to name every little cloud. But we had 25 of them storms. We had 3 or 4 of them tropical storms. Damn rain. But it's that time of year, so talking about that agony coming across Mexico. A week ago, they were anticipating it coming into the Gulf and becoming a hurricane there. They just can't stand
Rush today.
waiting.
Yeah. Hello, Miss Tony.
Hey there, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? And Mr. Richard, how are you today? Okay. Rushing today.
Relax, relax.
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody complained, not one person opened their mouth.
She's making them now. Yeah.
It's out of
Operations Committee, please come to order. While you're perusing the minutes, you should also be looking at them. And Joanne, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
We have, I'm told we have a quorum. Take a minute, look over the minutes, or maybe you've already done so.
Okay, and I have Barbara Cornish on my,
Oh.
Barbara Cornish.
Glory be to God. All right.
We all wanted to do that.
Are there any corrections to the minutes or comments thereon?
No, they're very nice.
What?
They're very nice, thank you.
Joyce, did you, I don't know who that was. All right, hearing no comments on the minutes will be accepted as presented. And for the record, this is the Operations Committee meeting of May 31st, 2022. Usually Bob asks me to say that. Which brings us, by route circuitous, to Miss Monica.
Good afternoon, everybody. Marge, from Olga over, doesn't have
She's
a
just
copy.
be careful.
My name is Olga, bring it over here.
That's all, got
That's all.
Over.
over here.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Okay, we're.
Right here.
It's already here.
You're all the way back. Okay, here we go. You already have some?
Yes, yes.
You?
All of us don't.
I need this.
Oh, you're welcome. I know.
to turn them over to Scrooge McDuck.
I'll give it to you on your plate.
You know how much money Scrooge
almost got it
McDuck
right.
Gotta
has?
take care of you.
4 cubic acres of money.
March.
4 cubic acres.
Right here, them here too. No, just one. You got yours, Olga? Okay.
She's been quoted, Scrooge McDuck, as having umpteen centrifugillion dollars.
Thank you, dear.
Sure. I can't imagine that number.
He swims in them in the money every day.
Okay, we ready to move forward?
Yes.
Sorry for the interruption.
I only need one.
Today, we're looking at your statement of operations for the 5 months ended March 31st. For the month of March, our total income was $431,000. Our total expenses $478,000, so we had a loss for the month of $47,000. Year to date, for the 5 months, our total revenues were $2,029,000. We spent $2,285,000, so we have a loss of $256,000. For that period, we had actually budgeted a loss of $354,000, so it's a positive variance of $98,000. If you look down the right side of your variances, you will see that most everything is under budget. One of the items that is over budget is utilities. And I'm finding that not just in this community, but in all 3 of our communities. And I know FPL is saying that they have not passed on fuel increases and rates. But I don't understand why all 3 of our communities are over budget in electricity if that's the case. But that's what I'm seeing.
Do a graph on the bills. Just keep a record and make a
Yeah.
graph.
Mhm.
Right?
Right. What are we gonna do about it? You know, it's not like we have an alternative choice.
You can complain.
Oh, sure. They would listen to us too, I'm sure. Okay, moving right along to your social activity summary at the bottom. Theater income for the month of March was $41,000. Between your theater and your movies, we spent $65,000, so we have a loss for the month of $24,000. Year to date, theater revenue $175,000. For your theater dances and movies, we spent $266,000. So we have a loss of $92,000. We had budgeted a loss of $57,000, so unfortunately, it's a negative variance of $35,000.
We still lost $90,000.
I'm sorry, Fausto?
We still lost $91,000
Yes, sir.
versus the budget is just a fixture.
Yes,
Actual cash lost is $91,000.
yes, sir. Mhm. Yes, Tony?
I think the most important thing here is the fact that movies are movies, okay? You get, it's a flat amount, isn't it? At least it used to be. Yes.
Mhm.
For how many times
It is.
you play the movie. Bottom line is if you got 5 people or 500 people, doesn't matter, just, that is. Movies are not the problem are the other show. The dances, you never expect, you're not making any money on dances, or there's never any income on them.
Only for Valentine's
Yeah, the real
Day.
problem is the shows. We just can't seem to get the people to come in. I thought we were gonna have that thing where it just showed what was playing and stuff like that.
We do, first season.
We're hoping
I mean,
more
that's
people will
$100,000
start
on-
coming back. I know, yeah. No.
I wonder if, nowadays, I'll tell you, I wonder what our chances are of getting, what's a good number in the theater?
In the summer,
And no, during the winter.
it depends on the show, but we always worked at a break even or profit previously to this year.
How many tickets do I need to send?
We're gonna go over the P&L, Tony, in a couple of minutes, and you'll see during, this is for the month of April though. So that's off season, so the highest number of tickets sold was 396 tickets to a show, and the lowest was 255.
For the month of,
That's the last page. Is that the
Okay.
last page? or what?
Yeah, Richard, thank you. All I'm saying
No,
is,
it's not, it's the third page.
It's a penultimate page.
For May, I already have the figures. There were 4 shows, and you had a total of 638 people for 4 shows.
That's not good.
So the numbers are decreasing on the summer shows.
So we're gonna Monica go on and finish her report, and then we can club all these other numbers out.
that's the spirit, John. Move it along. You're welcome.
Okay. All right, your next report is your cash balances. As of March 31st, our total operating funds were $964,000. Your windstorm deductible reserves were $827,000, and your contingency and infrastructure improvement reserves, $2,598,000. Total reserve funds, $3,424,000. Your total available cash, $4,389,000. The next report is your profit and loss for social activities, and this is for the month of April. During April, there were 1,610 theater tickets sold. Our gross sales were $8,790. Our audience view costs were $1,078, and sales tax was $580, so that brings our net sales for April to $7,132. We paid $4,700 for the performers that month, so we actually had a profit of $2,432 for April. Your movies are listed near the bottom. We had 4 movies during the month of April. 706 people attended the movies. The total cost for the movies $1,284, and you'll see that typically the movies are $535 each, so this is the first month that reflects your reduced costs for movies because we're not showing them the number of times we were previously showing them, which the committee had voted on, and Abby was able to negotiate a lower rate for the movies. So it's now at $321 per title. So when you add the theater and the movies together for April, we had a profit of $1,148. The next report is the revenue collected from guests. This is also through April. We had 1,912 tickets that were sold to guests from November through April, which generated $9,560 in guest fees included in your box office sales. Guest passes that were sold in the ID office are $37,317. Guest passes sold in the staff office, $5,280. So our total revenue generated from guest sales November through April is $52,157. I can report to you that effective May 2nd is when we went back to the old guest prices that the committee voted to do at the last committee meeting. So that has been put in place, and you'll see that reflected in the April number. So we're back to the $3 for a guest pass per day, $10 a week, and $20 for 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, Tommy?
Do we estimate, is that gonna be just for the summer, or are we gonna keep it all year round?
All year round.
Yeah, because I did hear some complaints. We have, just family members of residents, and they were like, $5 a day to go to the pool.
That's why we
Right.
canceled.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we've discussed it like 3 or 4 times lately, and that was the decision at the last committee to make it permanent.
Because we're kind of taking advantage of our own. Sorry.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I have one more report. Okay, the very last report is your Estoppel income. This is also through April, and this was a record
I was
setter.
gonna say, what happened?
During the month of April, 127 units were sold in this community. I've been keeping records as far back as 2014 on the number of Estoppels we collect in each month, and the highest ever was 98. So this was definitely a record. I don't know what happened to shoot it so high all of a sudden. But so through April, 419 units sold in this community. The same period in the prior year, there were 460 units. So we're still looking at a decrease of 9% over the prior period, or 41%. That's it for my reports. There's one other thing on the agenda for me, if I may. Or if you have a question, Bob? Okay.
Under cash balances page,
Have your mask.
sorry. On your cash balances page, at the bottom says your maximum exposure for windstorm deductible. Notice that's gone up. Also, the B, reserve assessments. We're getting assessed now?
Of course, yes. This is tracking what the reserves have been from 2018 through currently. They're $5 per unit per month.
Okay, and which reserves is this going for?
That's going into your line item currently that says Truist, formerly SunTrust, the 1.9 million.
What is this being used for?
It's sitting there, earning very little interest.
It's a reserve.
It's a
What is it-
reserve.
What is
Is
it a
it
reserve
earmarked? What's
for?
earmarked?
It is a pooled reserve
Okay,
for the
we-
committee to determine how they want to
I
spend
mean,
the
we're getting
money.
assessed, my question has to do with, we're getting assessed for a reserve which is not designated, all right? Why?
This committee made that decision and approved it, Bob.
Why? I'm asking the committee, why? Why are we having this huge amount every month? I mean, $5 is a lot to some people, not to me, but it is to some. And why are we having,
Pooled
An
reserve is the
assessment.
way to go.
huh?
Pooled reserve is the way to go.
Pool reserve is an easy way for things to be done without permission.
No.
No.
Think about it.
I would never spend one nickel of this money without this committee's decision.
This was for unanticipated major expenses.
Right, exactly.
If you recall, back in 2015, when we started this reserve, the major ticket item that prompted that reserve was the HVAC project.
Yeah, and we've been assessed $7 per unit per month for the past 2 years. Now we're at $5. Prior to that, it was $9.
Used to be $9, yes.
Used to be $1.
Yeah, why isn't it $1 now? That's what I'm saying.
I'm the one that started that, and the reason for that, when major projects came up, no, you can shoot me later. When major projects came up, we had no reserve fund, so we would have to wait 6 months or a year to get something done so we could put it into the budget. So we started a reserve fund with $1 per month per unit, right? And how we got to $9? It's inflation. And everybody got a salary increase. Everything costs more money. You need to have the money there when you need it.
I just think that's excessive, that's all. Anyway, I was questioning because you didn't mention it.
I know.
Hello, everyone. Contributions to the reserve is something that's typically discussed and then voted on at budget time. And I suggest that this discussion be postponed until the budget process, which is October, right?
It's August.
September 1st is the
Excuse me?
Yes, Tommy?
Oh, I can't see. Got my close glasses on, I can't see what you just did. Is there any way for us to think about, well, how much is the fund currently? How much is it? How much is in this fund?
Your total contingency and infrastructure improvement reserves is $2,598,000.
Okay. Normally I would say you should earmark. But bottom line is, that's not a lot of money when you have the type of operation that we have here. $2.5 million being for whatever we need it for is not a lot of money when you think about what could possibly happen here. So I think you should think about keeping it unless you can find a better place to earmark it. There must be something, and I hate to ask people from WPRF if there's any way they could figure out spending $2.5 million. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Earmarking it.
That could be done in a couple of days.
That's true. Anyhow, that's what I'm saying. It's not a lot of money. And so having that kind of money as a fallback, if God forbid anything happens. But usually a subsequent money of that magnitude or more should be earmarked for something like with the reserving we do for our roof or our painting or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You obviously probably have a list of things that you have to want to do. So,
Yes,
just a
ma'am.
thought.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, afternoon. The reserves is a very, very ticklish item, and the way WPRF works and the way UCO works, it's much more difficult because corporations usually review their budgets quarterly and can adjust it. As I talked at the officers meeting and at the executive board, that kind of money used to earn money, but today you're losing every day. I brought up the fact that if you invested it today in treasury bills, you would get at least 1 3/4 and possibly 2% in the most secure item that the United States has, because if they went bust, you'll be trading in gold. The other thing is, when I look at a budget, you look at the overall thing, and it appears to me the major change is a positive variance from the budget, because you're saying that the budgeted loss was $97,000. Correct. We have achieved a positive $97,000 from the budget as it appears. Now, the other thing is, and Monica, I'm just asking you this, a lot of our costs are not equally divided by the month, right?
That is
period
true.
costs.
That is true.
So that what you're looking at today may not be the same tomorrow, because the way our budgets are generally prepared is we take an expense and you may do it differently, we divide it by 12. That's not the real world. The real world is that certain items are more at one time and certain items are less. So it's only your best guess, and you only have one shot at it. And I think that you did a very credible job. I do think, and you could take it for what it's worth, I don't know what you're earning on our reserves now, but my recommendation, look at treasuries. Can't get a more secured item, and it's paying far more than any bank is paying on their CDs, and it's the full faith and credit of the United States government.
Okay. Well, you're right. We're earning very little, but that should start to go up as the Fed is going to be increasing the Fed rates at least probably 4 more times between now and the end of the year. So the banks are going to follow suit. and will start to increase their rates. And they're expected to increase rates next year, probably another 3 or 4 times as well.
Well, no, that's a good thought, but all we're doing is conjecturing. I look at today, and today you could earn almost 2% on treasury bills.
I'll look at that then, Ed.
If you want, I'll forward you my study, which I put a lot of time on.
Okay, I welcome that, thank you.
You're welcome.
I would only suggest, if we could actually bid on the auction rather than a brokerage firm, which will suck up some of the gain in commissions, I would assume.
That's absolutely right. The auctions are every Monday and an amount on Tuesday. You put in your bid. Anybody can. If you put up your money, there's an application, and you can go directly to the Treasury. You don't have to go through a broker or anybody else.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Something to look at.
Absolutely.
All right.
Any,
Next item is insurance discussion.
yes, sir. I will keep this brief. I am asking the committee for your approval, if you're okay with it, maybe you're not, if this year around, given the current state of affairs with the property insurance market in the state of Florida, I would like to forego doing a dog and pony show with bringing in 1 or 2 other agents, like we have done in the past, because honestly, there's so little capacity in the market right now, and the carriers are leaving the state of Florida every day and canceling policies everywhere. And chances are we're going to wind up with the exact same coverage that we already have when it comes to the carriers with our Laird program for property insurance and with Philadelphia for our general liability. I would like, with your permission, if you're okay with it, to have Assured Partners be the agency to bid our insurance this year. I will tell you, I have been very pleased with them. Just to give you an example of their claims handling for us, prior to going with them in the insurable year 2019 to 20, our previous insurance agent filed 94 claims in 1 year, which was pretty much evenly split between the 3 Century Villages. The first year that Assured Partners took over, there were 18 claims filed. So it went from 94 to 18. This past year, there have been 12. So they're working much harder to manage the claims. They're not sending every single incident in as a claim like our previous agent was doing. And when you go to bid the insurance, 12 or 14 claims versus 94 claims looks a heck of a lot better when you're underwriting risk for a client. So they've also worked very hard to get a lot of old claims that have been sitting around for years closed out and moved off the books. So I have been very happy with them. Unfortunately, you're the last committee that I have asked permission to move forward with this, because we've already had our Boca and our Pembroke Pines meetings earlier this month, with it being the last day of the month for your committee meeting. I can share with you that Boca and Pembroke committees have given me their okay to not have at least 1 or 2 other agencies to come in and talk to you this year to make a decision who you want to bid the insurance.
Tony,
Yes,
you got any input on this?
I concur. Bottom line is, we may be talking to other agencies because they actually said they wanted, we've had these people coming in for the last couple of years, and they really want to take our business over. So But right now, with this being just the second year, this will be the second renewal for Assured Partners. I don't feel like I want to go out there either, quite honestly. It's too hairy out there. And if I go to somebody else and they do poorly the next year, we could lose stuff. Right now, we know who we have, and there's a certain amount of, I may not be crazy about everything that Assured Partners. I'm not as in love with them as Monica is, okay? But then I'm not in love with any of them, you know what I mean? But right now, this year, Assured Partners, I think, is the best way to go. We need stability, and that's neither WPRF nor UCO can afford instability in our insurance programs.
This set of policies is on a 3-year cycle? The last
No, sir. It's a 1-year policy.
1 year policy.
1 year?
Mm-hmm.
The last policy I can find is 2020. Is there something in the records more recent than that?
The current policy expires July 31, 2022.
Did you get a copy of that?
No, I don't think I did get it this year. But
All
then
right.
I was, also we don't have your latest appraisal. If you have
Oh,
one.
really?
All right.
Okay.
Have you got an what's your last appraisal date?
It was in May of 2020. So
That's
next
what I'm
year,
thinking.
we'll be doing
That's
the
what he-
appraisal. Yeah, we'll have a new appraisal done in spring of next year.
Okay.
Hold on, Barbara.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember.
Assured Partners, if we do, I'll make that motion.
Yeah, it's a big budget item. I should think we would want to have a record, yeah. So you make a motion that we stay with Assured Partners. Do we have a second?
Second.
To have multiple seconds, we'll give it to Tony. Any further discussion on this one? Olga?
I'm a little confused and I need some clarity. When you say Assured Partners has less claims, okay? Does that mean that if somebody puts in a claim, they will try to talk them out of it or talk them down so that they
No,
can have
ma'am.
less claims?
No.
No.
This is.
No, let me tell you what was happening before is every single time we had an incident, whatever, no matter what it was, we always send it to the insurance agent. Previously, every single thing that we sent to them was automatically being sent to our carrier.
And they would set up a reserve.
They would look at it and say, okay, this might cost $20,000, or this might cost $15,000. And those reserves count against you until that claim is ultimately closed out. What I'm saying is Assured Partners is being much more selective about the claims or the incidents that they send to the insurance company. And they're reviewing them. And obviously, if some claims you know right away, or some incidents you know it's going to be a claim.
I just want to be assured that people who have legitimate claims
Oh, no.
don't get talked out
Oh,
of it.
absolutely not.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
because listen, the insurance company doesn't know about it unless they receive an attorney's letter through us. So our agent is not going to contact that person at all because they've not moved forward on the claim yet. I mean, Tony, you agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do most of the claims for UCO, and what happens is somebody will call me up and say, gee whiz, Mary Smith fell, okay? She fell, she skinned her knees, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, basically what I do is I send it all out. It's all, Mary Smith happened, blah, 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 blah. Send it into Christy at Assured Partners. She's a claims person. And then she'll say to me, you think they're going to make a claim? Well, sometimes I take out my crystal ball and I know, and sometimes I don't know. But I'm always honest. I said, I don't know. A skinned knee, something like that, maybe they'll just want the medical payments taken care of. You know what I mean? On the other hand, we had a nice lady who actually went out at 6:45 in the morning to throw out her garbage and tripped and fell and broke her arm. And do you think there's going to be a claim? Yeah. Well, did you talk to them? I said no, because you don't talk to people about a claim, okay? But sure, you're almost sure about that one. It's going to be a claim, sure. You know, so that's what you do. You just have to, you know, Monica's absolutely right. What happens is as soon as the Philadelphia hears about a claim, they put an automatic reserve. And if it's renewal time, and you got a reserve up there, you get dinged.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you get dinged. Okay? Now in this same instance, I have a record of the claim. Christie has a record of the claim, Assured Partners, so I can prove that I sent it in and if the claim is made. And plus, you got to understand, I got no axe to grind. I'm not going to say, oh no, she didn't give me a claim. Why would I do that? You know, I'm not in that business. So
Let's call the vote.
All right, any further discussion on this one? Bingo. Joanne? Would you like to call the vote?
Okay. The motion was brought by Barbara Cornish to remain with Assured Partners as insurance agency for Century Village.
Century Village or WPRS?
Or WPRS. Ruth Dries?
Yes.
Joyce Reese?
Yes.
Richard Handelsman?
Yes.
Maureen de Beguer?
Yes.
Barbara Cornish?
Barbara?
Babs,
Lost her.
Barbara?
well, I would say yes.
She made the
She made the motion.
She made the motion. So,
Barb?
Yeah, lost her.
Jackie Carlin?
Yes.
Olga Wilkenstein?
Yes.
David Boaz?
No.
David Israel?
Yes.
Ed Grossman?
Yes.
Dom Granagio?
Yes.
Stuart
Yes.
Mitchell? Fausto Fabro?
No.
Patricia Caputo?
Yes.
Bob Rivera?
No.
And I vote yes. And
Hold on. Doc?
Do we want a time on that motion? Accept Assured Partners for the
Call
year
the vote. What's your response to the motion?
2023.
Yes.
Okay, Barbara votes yes. What's your question?
He wants to know, be more specific as to the date of the policy, 2023.
The policy will run August 1st,
Oh, I'm sorry.
2022 to July 31, 2023.
Okay. All right. Looks like it passes, yes.
I amended, yes. 13 yes and 3 no. Motion carries.
All right, moving right along. Anything else on insurance?
Nope.
That's it?
For me. Thank you.
Can we move on to Dan and HVAC?
Good afternoon. Mine's small. I have just two items. I wanted to discuss one that's not on here, but I was just in touch with the Lake Worth Drainage District, and it's in reference to the weir. I'd like to go and explore for budget reasons to dredge this thing now. We've been keeping it under control, spraying as much as possible, but it's still a problem out there if we have a large storm, you know.
You've got a lot of vegetation in there?
Yeah, and we've killed it down, but there's too many stumps and everything that could clog the passageway, you know, so we need to try to see what's
You got
going to
an
be the
estimate
cost.
on this?
We're going to work on this thing. I think we did get something earlier, but, you know, times have changed. That was a good 6 months ago, if not more. So we're going to look into that, again, referencing to take care of that, just because of the storm. And after I read some of the stuff that Lake Worth Drainage District is, that's one of the areas that they're concerned about, making sure that's a clear passage.
Are they concerned about it enough to pay for it?
Maybe we could talk to them about it. It's a new person there.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Okay.
It is important that that be kept clear, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine's short, just a update on the HVAC. We did receive a lot of the equipment but we're still missing a couple of pieces, one with the electrical heaters and one unit for one of the card rooms upstairs. So the opening side is looking like the second week in July, okay, second week in July. And I'll leave that to Abby at this point now because of the theater.
So based upon what Dan said, this committee needs to advise me what they want to do moving forward, assuming if we go on sale for July, we're doing those buy 3, get 1 free. And that would mean potentially the shows would go into the party room if in fact you want them to go into the party room. When he closes the theater, my question to you is, from July through October, do you want shows in the party room? Do you want dances in the party room? Do you want movies in the party room? I can tell you that for the 4 months, July, August, September, and October, the cost of the shows are $16,800. The cost for the dances are $64.50. The cost for the movies is $57.78. The cost for the clubhouse happenings is about $2,500, and the cost for the MC is about $2,250, making a total of about $34,000. So the question is when, if we go on sale for July, we have always done this buy 3, get 1 free. We don't know that the people are going to be willing to go into the party room or not. I'm not speculating whether they can or they won't. I'm just trying to be informative.
How much room we have in the party room?
You have plenty of seats in the party room.
No, just out of nosiness.
If for theater style, I think we'll have at least 400.
At least 400.
At least 400.
Okay, well, that's not.
But the question is, if you buy tickets for July, hypothetically, and we have to move after the first week or the second week, are you going to move the shows into the party room? Will the people go? As I reported earlier, your attendance for May was, with 4 shows, 638 people. I'm sorry to say that you have lost all this money during the season. You can blame me personally. You can blame the programming. I don't know what to say. I feel it's just the people got used to staying home. They had the COVID issues. I don't know the answer to it. We have always been very successful here. Knowing what was going on with the air conditioning, as I told you, every month we did not go to contract for the summer. So July, August, September, and October, we have no legal contractual obligations. So it is strictly up to this committee to tell me what it is that you would want to do moving forward for the summer months.
Jackie?
I suggest, that was my question, do you have a contract?
No.
I suggest that you want to make a motion if you want, that we cancel the shows, have the movies, and I can't remember what else.
Wow.
The dances.
Dances. And the party.
Nobody's going in?
You want me to make a motion?
No.
No?
I think it needs to be discussed.
This is pretty radical. You're making a decision here for lots of people.
I've already suggested, vote, we need a vote.
All right.
I think she's just saying that, I think it needs to be talked about.
All right.
Suggesting, I'm not
Joyce?
saying it. I think we should move it to the party room. I know I enjoy the shows. I know David Boas goes to every show. I remember 2004 when we had Jeannie and Francis. We had the shows, I think, even in the party room, or we had them in the synagogue, and we had a decent turnout. And for the amount of money, I personally think it's worth it. It gives people something to do on Saturday nights.
Okay. Ed?
Abby, you're giving us the gross loss as if we never had even one ticket sold, am I correct?
Correct.
So that's not really a number to consider, because 1 ticket, 2 tickets changes that number. I think it's a radical change. I wasn't here for shows outside, but I think an alternative could be, instead of having 4 shows in a month, you could have 1 or 2, and those who want to go will have an ability to go, and we as a group have not just thrown 30 some odd $1,000 into the wind. You could also,
Well, I think for shows, let's talk about 16,800, because if we are going to have shows, we still have to print the publication. So strictly the budget for the shows is $16,800.
in other words, the budget is what it would cost us,
If
is
you
that?
had 4 shows a month or 5 when there are 5 weeks.
And that's $30,000?
Well, if you take the dances, as I said, were $64.50, the movies were $57.88, the clubhouse happenings to print for the 4 months is $25.44, and the MC is $22.50.
Well, I would think that the largest chunk of that is for live shows.
Correct.
And the smallest chunk is for movies, and the next chunk is for the dancing.
Correct.
So I don't know if we should review this thing as one whole package or break it down. Of course, we could always use the outside amphitheater, you know, that we have on the island.
Okay, I'm like, did I miss something here? Again, I'm here to be informative. We looked ahead, we did not go to contract, and whatever the direction the committee wants to go, we will proceed.
Can we get a breakdown? In other words, what each show you would plan cost?
On the average, you're talking about $1,000.
$1,000? $1,000 for a live show?
Yes.
If you look at,
There's summer shows.
if you look at the summer shows from the last report, it shows you.
Some we pay $750, some we pay $1250, so I'm saying $1,000 on the average.
Here's the way I look at it. The movies, I mean, people are always gonna, as long as the movies are good, but there are not a lot of really good movies out there.
Because of COVID,
of
we're
course.
still having difficulty.
But the dances always did very, very well here. So that's a no-brainer. But dances don't bring in any money, really, do they?
Correct.
Thank you. So what I'm saying about, I think you should forget about movies, and not forget about them, but just think that they're not revenue producing. And go with the, do you want the shows? Can you get enough people to at least hopefully break even? That would be really nice. But even if you don't, it's not the end of the world, it's the summer. And some of the programs are gonna be good and some of them are not gonna be. But the important thing is to be able to get the people in, and I wonder, I gotta be honest with you, I don't see a lot of advertising, I don't even know who's there. And
We do the clubhouse happenings, we have a section in your UCO reporter every month. We send emails, probably weekly. I mean, if you can give me another idea that I'm missing, I'd be happy. I'm open to constructive criticism.
Look, I think until you hear something definitive from the federal government about the plague, you're gonna have some reticence of people to gather in crowds, and you can hardly blame them. All right, Bob.
Okay, you want another suggestion? Here's a suggestion.
Pull your mask
Split
down.
it up. All right? You take 1 week, you got dance. 1 week, you got a show. 1 week, you got the movie. And just rotate it through. That would be fair to everyone. The people that want to dance, and I'm included in that, want to dance. We've been without dances for what, 2 years now? A lot of people want to dance.
All right, look, obviously this is one of these things that we could kick around for hours. So we need a motion of some sort.
I make a motion that we make it fair and rotate
No, it's not
the
about
venue.
discussion.
I don't need, well, okay. I don't attend any of these things, so I don't understand what you're saying, but Abby, does this make sense?
No.
Does it make sense, Abby, to rotate through the venues?
Unfortunately, I can't offer an opinion of what I think you should do.
I think it does.
Because if you do it, you are taking a loss. That I can assure you. You're losing in the theater and you're gonna lose in the party room. But on the other end of the spectrum, people are paying to come to the clubhouse. Even those 100 people that come to a show are enjoying it. That's what they're accustomed to. They want to dance. They want to come to the show. We don't have bingo. We don't have this because of COVID. We don't have certain rooms open because of COVID. This is the one thing that we can do for them.
You want to proceed with the program, except you want to move the venue to the party. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, knowing that you are going to take a loss.
Understood.
It's not what I want. I'm giving you both sides of the coin.
You're gonna take a show that you normally have on stage, and you're gonna put that in a party room. That's not.
We have done that in numerous occasions. We've done it in Boca when the theater didn't open. You know, was the attendance highly populated? Absolutely not, it wasn't. But did those 100 people or 50 people that went say it's really intimate and they get to touch and feel the performer and they enjoyed it? I'm just looking out for the community on whole. But with that being said, I understand it's your money.
I'm looking at the fact that 2 years without going to a dance, and a lot of people here love to dance.
Yes.
Barbara has
You
something?
can, if you're going to have shows on Saturday nights, you can move the dances to Friday or Sunday. You can do either or. You know, once we have to close the theater.
You gotta give us something to move on that isn't shifting like the desert sands.
I can't make a motion, I'm just offering you facts.
Just, go ahead, Joyce.
I would like to make a motion to keep the status quo. Have the shows, the dances, everything the way it's always been, except move to the party room. I don't know if it's said it correctly.
Okay.
Shows and dances are on the same time.
Well, we would have to move, when you decide that you want to move the shows, if you do, then you will have to make another motion, or you will, in that motion, decide whether you want dances on Friday or Sunday.
Wasn't that discussed before?
Yes, it was, but that was pre-something else, so we want to clarify.
Okay, Barbara has something to say. Go ahead, Barbara.
Was any motion made, I'm asking?
Just now, yes.
Just now. Just now.
Was it second?
Joyce made
To
it.
leave everything as is and move it to the party room.
Leave everything as is, but move it to the party room.
Okay. What I want to say is, because I heard Bob before, we lose money on the movies, we lose money on the dances, so we're going to lose a little money on the shows, but I agree with Joyce. I don't know if she has a second, but I'll second it.
Ruth second.
All right, so we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Ed?
I'd like to suggest in the past, rather than have the shows in the party room, which some people think can't be done, we've used Anshe Shalom, and that holds a fair amount of people, and it has a stage.
That's a different motion. You made a motion.
All right.
Excuse me.
You first have to vote on this motion.
Well, you could vote on what you want. It's open for discussion. And my discussion is, you could amend that, or you could vote on it. But there's a way of doing it, and we've done it before.
All right. Any further discussion on the motion? I think we should call.
That's yours.
Joanne?
Joyce Reese made the motion, Ruth seconded, and the motion is to leave the shows, movies, and dances as is, but move them to the party room
When the theater closes.
when the theater closes.
One question, please. This is all contingent.
What?
This will all be contingent on the air conditioning progress.
When
Sure.
when the theater closes.
All right, good enough. Thank you.
Ruth Dries.
Yes.
Joyce Reese.
Yes.
Richard Handelsman.
Yes.
Maureen DeMiguel.
Yes.
Barbara Cornish.
Yes, she said yes.
Jackie Carlin.
Yes.
Olga Wolkenstein,
Yes.
David Boaz,
Yes.
David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Grossman,
No.
Don Bernaggia,
No.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Fausto Fabro,
No.
Tricia Caputo,
Yes.
Bob Rivera.
No.
I'll vote yes. Twelve yes and 4 no. The motion carries.
Let me just state that when we sell the tickets for July, we will advise the patron before they purchase the buy 3, get 1 free, that you potentially are going to be in the party room, and if you are not willing, please don't buy the tickets, because we're not going to give refunds. You all in agreement with that?
Yes.
And regarding dances, we had said originally, I think, that we were going to do them on Sunday nights. Do you want Fridays, Sundays? Here's another possibility. We could potentially have the show at 7 o'clock. That shouldn't be an issue. And then we could potentially bring the band at 8:30. But then the religious people won't ever be able to go to the shows because of Shabbos. So we need to revisit the dances, what day of the week you want, Fridays or Sundays.
Olga.
I make a motion that we have them on Sunday.
But you have dances already scheduled on Sunday.
All right.
What dances?
There's a Latin dance, there's a Latin dance this Saturday.
The same dancers you're talking about for the last half hour.
No, not at all.
Well, what are you talking about?
They're talking about something that I don't know what it is.
There's a Latin club that gets together. There's another dance.
Oh, there's something in the way.
The Latin club.
Okay.
I'm just saying, well, you're not. I said Friday. I said Friday. Dance every night, every week. Have karaoke on Friday.
Well, remember you also have movies on Sunday nights. So you do have movies on Sunday nights, so maybe you want to consider a Friday.
All right. So Sunday is a non-starter?
Yes.
Right, it would have to be Friday. If there's anything in the way, we'll move it.
Why are you asking us to do this scheduling?
I take my directives from you.
No, you gotta present us with an option that's feasible.
I did. I presented it.
Huh?
I did.
So when should the dances be?
Friday.
I don't know what else happens in this clubhouse, unfortunately. I didn't know anything about Sunday Latin.
But you're right, we have a movie on Sunday, so we're gonna bump the
Fine.
movie.
You put dances on Friday night, do you not exclude a significant component of the community?
You can have them on Thursday nights. It doesn't matter.
They don't come
At least 2 Fridays.
Oh, they don't dance?
No, not in the clubhouse.
Go for it.
Not in the clubhouse.
Okay.
They don't go.
Somebody make a motion, folks, on when to have the dances.
I'll make a motion. I will make a motion.
The other motion?
Excuse me, I have my hand raised.
What?
I have my hand raised.
Pat, Patricia,
I said I would like to make a motion that we have the dances on Friday evening. Period end. Let's not discuss it today.
I second it.
all right. Any discussion on that one?
I have to rescind my motion before this motion goes ahead.
Okay,
What was your motion?
So I have no choice.
you got it.
I have to rescind it, so now you could go ahead. I had a motion on the
You have a
floor
motion on the floor.
For what?
to make the
Roberts
dances
rolling
on
in his
Sunday,
grave.
but it's a conflict because the movies are on Sunday. My
Right.
motion.
We have a motion that the dances be on Friday night?
Yes.
Okay, did we get a second on that?
Yes.
Joyce seconded. Any further discussion on this weighty item?
No,
No.
nothing tough.
Glad to hear it. Have you anything to add on this item to further complicate it? Good.
Don't blame
Would you like to call it?
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion from Patricia Caputo to have the dances on Friday night. once the party room is available, and it's seconded by Joyce Reese.
Yes.
Ruth Reese. Joyce Reese.
Yes.
Joyce
Richard
Reese?
Handelsman.
Affirmative.
Joyce Reese.
Maureen de Beguer.
Yes.
Barbara Cornish. Is Barbara? Yes.
Yes.
Jackie Carlin. Olga Wilkenstein.
No.
David Israel.
Yes.
Yes.
Ed Grossman.
No.
Don Granaccia. Stuart Richland.
Yes.
Fausto Fabro.
Yes.
Patricia Caputo.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
So
12 yes and 3 no, motion carries.
All right.
Good idea.
And anything else on these matters? Can we return, where are we? Dover awning?
Yeah, just wanted to, a very quick update. A couple of prices came in. One was to put the railing around the awning, which came in close to $5,000. The other was to build the soil up around to make it flush with the grass area. That came in at 13, so that's the direction we're gonna head. And then we can open up the awning and we're gonna put very explicit signage.
We didn't vote for that, we voted it down.
What?
What did you vote
We voted down the
That
patio.
was for Dover to do it.
No, but WPRF and Dover both owned it. I thought we voted no.
Okay, what are we chattering about?
The Dover patio, I thought we voted it down, period. It's all,
Voted what? Oh, the rail? I don't remember that.
There was the, yeah, this is where we are now with the awning.
yeah.
In order to open it, because right now we have construction fencing around it because it is not safe. In order to open it, we have to do something. So either we put up a railing, which is gonna cost, what, $5,000, or you just bring up the soil and put down sod so that the concrete is flush with the grass so that nobody can actually fall off the concrete pad. That's coming in at $1,300. So we're gonna move forward with that. We're gonna put a sign on it and then we can open it back up.
I'm gonna bring up again, and I really wish you'd consider it. Given the location of that highly controversial awning, quit claiming it off to Dover and getting it out of everybody else's hair.
Amen.
Have you seriously given that consideration? I mean, this is not a multi-million-dollar structure. Why not just quit claiming it off and let them quibble and argue about it till doomsday?
That would be a Benenson Capital decision.
Well, has this been-
It has not been presented to them because we didn't know if that was a direction we wanted to move in that way. If this committee wants us to present that to Benenson Capital, we can certainly ask them.
Olga?
I'm with you, David, all the way. The question I was gonna ask is, what is the procedure, okay, to get Benenson Corporation to deed that to Dover, because it should belong to them? What's the procedure to do that?
The committee has now indicated that that's the direction you'd like this to go, that you want Benenson to be
Yeah,
approached.
What do we have to do?
You're setting it in motion right now.
Okay.
Make the motion.
Make the motion.
I make a motion that we present to Benenson Corporation the deed, to give the deed to that particular piece of property to Dover. Okay?
I second it.
It's crazy that it should not belong to them. It's nuts because it's on their property.
Who seconds?
I did.
Jackie seconded it. Bob, you had something? Thought I saw a hand. Okay, Tony.
Just a question. I understand, I think I remember the area you're talking about. Okay, does WPRF only own that little thing?
Yes, only, but.
And of course the lake. That's a given that you own the lake, or the water.
The shoreline, you're saying?
Shoreline.
Yes, it's the property is in between Dover's B and C.
Okay, but and that's all we're talking about is that.
That's all we're talking about is that.
Why would we want it? Why would anybody want it but Dover?
I've been asking that question for years.
All right, Bob.
Okay, that property, all right, you own it right now. Dover wants to use it. Nobody else is gonna be using it. So either you deed it over to them, they offer to buy it from you, or forget the whole thing. Simple as that, all right? I don't wanna pay for it. I don't wanna pay for having, you know, something on their property. I'm not gonna have access to their patio. So they can either buy the property from you, have it deeded from Benison to them, and then they can build it whatever they want.
All right, these options are fine, but we have a motion on the floor.
Can I enter?
Pretty straightforward.
It's
Ed.
I think you're doing a very dangerous thing. Benison can do what they want, but I think we should learn what's happened when you're not in control, including the medical building. We're talking about $1,300, am I correct? To put sod down and soil?
Correct, soil and then sod.
Why is this any different for any other repair that, whether it's UCO or WPRF, is responsible for? I'd like them to deed over the clubhouse to me. I mean, you're gonna break up something? Have you thought in the future? Bob brought up something, you didn't vote on this, and it's, last time, you didn't take this opportunity, you didn't take this opportunity. The nature of the village is changing without us trying to pick it apart. And you're talking a repair that's no different than a bathroom. Didn't we, excuse me, didn't we pay for a bathroom that's on someone's property? Okay, why is that different?
Because we can't go over there.
Who said?
No, it's open to residents. It's a WPRF property, it's marked as such, and anybody can go there and use it. But that's also part of the problem.
But realistically, they don't because of its location.
Well, actually, I would argue that they do. Not in great numbers, but they do, because I've had issues over there I've had to go deal with.
I've never been over there.
Did you take a tour of the vision?
Of the what?
Of the village. You know, where you have a tram that goes around, costs 50 cents, and you can have a tour of the village.
Well, I rode the bus around.
There's a motion, let's vote on it.
Olga.
There's a motion, let's vote on it.
Olga, we have, yes, I agree, we have a motion, we're in discussion here. You know, Ed's input is as good as anybody else's. Tony?
I think the right thing to do would be to fix it and give, you know, give them the property. I mean, the money is coming from us anyhow, but the property should be given in not a dangerous use. I mean, we can't hand it over to them and say, oh, by the way, be careful, the sod isn't high enough, or you're liable to slip off, or something like that. I think maybe Ed's talking about we should give it to, we should give them the property in proper condition, including railings, to make it legit. I'm sorry, folks, you people don't get insurance claims now, do you? Everybody will enjoy this one. Everybody. One, you gave them away something that would have problems. Two, they didn't fix it when they got it.
Right, well, you weren't here at the last meeting. They have their own plans for the gazebo.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like anything that we would do. So if approaches Benson, because that is what you are now asking. Okay, and we can get this moved over there and be done with it. I wouldn't spend another dime. That will be up to them to do.
Okay.
Tom?
First, Dover does not have to accept a quitclaim. Secondly, Dennison would be told, if you don't give it to Dover, either you pay for the improvements or it stays yellow tagged until the end of time.
It's okay, Doc, but there's an agreement in place. As long as it belongs to WPRF. And what you're going up against is that standard remark, each, every, and all. Right?
The third thing I was going to say...
I don't see how you're going to get around that with your idea.
The third thing would be that as long as it's WPRF's, that means the insurance and anything that does happen eventually comes back to us.
Correct.
If we absolve ourselves of it and Dover takes it, then it's on them.
I agree 100%. That's why I made this recommendation.
I think that Ed
Right?
said, what's the difference? The difference is that Dover wants it.
All right. Bob.
The problem is,
Let's take in consideration what we're in right now and what we're asking. We're in a situation where we're in arbitration with Dennison. All right? Do you think that they're going to be in any mood to say, oh yeah, let's give it to them? I doubt it.
yeah,
I doubt that very seriously. If they do, it's only just to get rid of the property so that they have no liability when this thing's complete. All right? And that would be a smart thing on their part, because then Dover would be the ones that would have the liability and not the rest of the village.
Okay, you're kind of crystal balling it. You can't say it won't work until you give it a try.
And just to be clear, what Ed was talking about earlier, what my comments, which were, we had a chance to buy the golf club, we blew that. We had a chance to buy WPRF, the whole building, all of this property, we blew that. We got a chance coming up on buying the synagogue, all right? We're gonna blow that too, so.
They don't want us to buy it now.
All right, Ed.
I just want to bring to everybody's attention that this is a precedent of us, UCO, suggesting that a piece of property which WPRF has should be turned over to an individual association. And I think before anybody here should vote on it, I think, David, you ought to run it by Rod Tennyson. This is not nickel and dime. It's the beginning of the end. That we are going to consider giving Dennison the opportunity to buy what they or get rid of what they already own, and you're talking nickels and dimes. $1,300. I just don't see the difference between that and fixing a bathroom or fixing a sidewalk. It's part of the village. And I really think, David, that you should get a legal opinion before we vote on it.
I suspect strongly, Ed, given whose property it is, that they would get it. They'd probably automatically get a legal opinion. I mean, all we can do with this vote is give WPRF a sense of what we're thinking. And I'm sure they'll get a legal opinion. And if it can't be done, it can't be done.
That's their legal opinion. They're a for-profit corporation.
Right.
And we're not. And this is part of the amenities that are open to everybody on the village.
Right.
So I think that's different. I really do.
Okay. Any further discussion? Fausto?
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like looking at this, it's like putting an island in the middle of the water. So should we deed the cement block to Dover, how are they going to get there without crossing property? What, are they gonna build a bridge? They're not. So in other words, there's a section of property, it's not adjacent to the building, it's in the middle of the grass.
I believe it's contiguous.
Yeah, it's surrounded by property. How much property?
Huh?
It's surrounded by Dover
Exactly.
property.
So what's the problem?
My problem is, how do you deed something that belongs to somebody else? I mean, physically, if it was me, I'd rip the thing out and throw it away. This way we don't have to discuss it.
But it doesn't belong to us.
But, yeah, you understand, it belongs to WPRF.
It's about the owner who's gonna figure out how to deed it off. You can quit claim anything.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry.
Don.
Going back 14 years, when we were dealing with the golf course, we were told that there's a one-way valve on that property that keeps the water from going back into the golf course. So now, who's going to maintain that?
It's nowhere near that, what do you,
That's what I was told, that the outlet is on the water side.
No, it's north of that.
No?
right?
Check south is north of that.
All right. Anything further on this one?
David Bowie?
Oh, David? Sorry.
I have to agree with Tony, the $1,300 thing has to be fixed. What they want to do with it after it's done, that's a different story. But I think you should have the place repaired. $1,300 is not going to kill anybody here. If Dover wants to make an offer for it, let them come forward and make an offer for it. $1,300 is just, not that I threw $1,300 around, but it's just $1,300 out of millions of dollar budget. It should be
All right,
repaired.
you wanna kind of go step by step, you wanna do the repair,
Do the
and then
repair.
consider whatever later.
Exactly right.
All right, now, I believe there's a motion on the floor.
I just have one more question. Dover came here last month. The president of the Dover building came here last month.
Susan.
Right, presenting what they wanted to do. If you notice, there were 30 people here from Dover who didn't want it done.
Say that again?
There were 30 residents of Dover who came because they did not agree with their president. They
Oh.
did not want it fixed.
Okay. Again, I say, once you quit claiming it off,
It ain't your
let
problem.
Dover fight amongst themselves till the end of time.
Which they love to do.
All right.
Maybe we need
the-
something from Dover, even, maybe they don't want it, maybe, who knows? Before we even make a decision.
I agree with you 100%.
Leveling up the,
It was my understanding that they did want it, and that the problem is there's no agreement on what to do with it. All right?
We've had enough discussion, let's call the vote.
Boy, you couldn't get me to agree more. This is angels on the head of a pin in spades. Okay?
What's the motion?
I thought we had a motion.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so Joanne is going to tell us the motion since we've long forgotten it.
As far as I can tell, Olga brought a motion to present to Henderson Corporation a request to deed the canopy area at Dover to the Dover Association. And it was seconded by Jackie Carl.
Hmm?
See, Big Mouth. I don't think I did.
Doesn't matter.
All right? Everybody happy with that motion? All right, let's call it.
Ruth Dries.
What? Oh, sorry.
Joyce Reese.
Yes.
Richard Handelsman.
Yes.
Maureen DeViguer.
No.
Barbara Cornish.
Yes. Yes.
John Hess. Jackie Carlin. Olga Wolkenstein.
Yes.
David Boaz.
No.
David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Grossman,
No.
Don Bernaccio,
No.
Stuart Richland,
No.
Fausto Fabro,
No.
Patricia Caputo,
Yes.
Pat?
Bob Rivera,
No.
and I am voting yes. Nine yes, and 8 no. It passes.
Okay, pass. So you're gonna make a valiant attempt to get Vincent to dump it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah, really.
All right. Where are we?
That's it.
Dover awning. Who would have guessed? We got everything covered in there. Do we have any new business?
No.
Well, any new business to come before the committee? Wait a minute. Cowboy. Discussion, Q&A. Got any discussion? None? Okay, we got a motion to adjourn.
I seconded it.
Any objection?
You're welcome, Barbara.
We are adjourned. Thank you, Bob.
We're all happy.
The number of people that use it for anything.
Nice to see you.
What do you worry about? $300 chicken feed.
Say they should fix it.
Chicken feed.
I wanted to get you to fix it.
Thanks, everybody.
I would say that we rip out the concrete and put in a vegetable garden and sell it. Sell the product. Put in because people go over there and look at the fish. Instead of dancing, they watch the fish.
No kidding.
And bottom line is, it's gonna happen. But it doesn't matter. I'm 79 years old.
Me too. Oh, it's my birthday.
Yeah, that's Asian.
Oh, it was. Just turned 70. I guess I want Jackie. Oh.
Don't look at me now, it's crazy. I have an abscess on my skin.
Where in the cheek?
Right here, and then
I would have turned out all that green and grow vegetables. And we'll sell it.
I wish I wasn't.
I don't know what it's not my
As far as I'm concerned, it's a tiny little
I don't know what it's from. It's the end of the I just came back from Israel. It happened a week after Israel. I don't know what it is. I look terrible. It hurts like hell. And I'm fed up. I am going to change internist because the secretary is doing it. First of all, I came back from Israel with my leg. I said what I wanted to do. That one, and you know, when I asked somebody I never all over with me, and she insisted last Friday I go to these docks on
Thank you very much.
I didn't want to go to that doctor. I thought they put me on the hospital. They made me try to go with a hose or something up my nose. I may not be able to score, but I am better with it.
As always. Never a dull moment, I can tell you. So I laughed about this one. They're just gonna look at their face and say,
What are you bringing that shit to me for?
Hello? 78.